Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Magically Living Life. So today I thought it would be fun if we baked some pumpkin cookies together. So let's head down to my kitchen. Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today we're going to be making some pumpkin cookies. I'm going to go over all the ingredients with you and some of the techniques that I use when I bake up cookies. This is a pumpkin cookie recipe today. So given the time of year, this would be a perfect cookie to make. So I like to measure out all my ingredients and get it laid out and then combine it all. I'm going to be using a standing mixer today, but you can definitely use a handheld mixer. So the ingredients that I have is 1 cup of packed brown sugar, a half a cup of white granulated sugar, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling, but just pumpkin puree, 1 stick of unsalted Kerrygold butter. You don't have to use the Kerrygold, but just get an unsweetened butter. I have 1 egg. I do use 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1/8 of a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. This is something that I personally put into my pumpkin cookies. You don't have to. The vanilla would work just fine. I like to then combine my baking powder, baking soda, and salt together, and I have my cheat sheet over here. So I use 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then I use a half a teaspoon of salt, and I just put that in there. 2.5 cups of flour, just regular all-purpose flour, and then guys, all the spices for this recipe. So I use a half a teaspoon of allspice, 1/4 a teaspoon of cardamon, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm looking at my cheat sheet. Ginger, half a teaspoon, and then 1/8 of a teaspoon of pumpkin spice. What I do, again, you don't have to do this, it's optional. I like to combine all of my spices for my cookies in a little ramekin here, and I like to sift that together first. I just have this little sifter. You just pour it in here, flip it over, and just start, tapping it, and it just sprinkles out. This is a handy little tool, like if you're going to sprinkle powdered sugar over something, or little like cocoa on top of your hot chocolate with a Cool Whip. Yeah, it's just a little sprinkler, but it also sifts all of my ingredients together for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in combining everything. I'm going to start with my wet ingredients first, along with my sugar. I'm eventually going to take these 3 and sift it in here to combine it before I pour it in there. So let's get started on getting these cookies going. after I get done mixing all of the ingredients, this is what it looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the freezer just to let it sit for a little bit while I clean up everything, because I'm going to be scooping these out and then rolling them in balls onto my cookie sheet. So I just want the dough just to sit a little bit in the freezer to kind of get a little cold, so it'd make it easier to roll them out. I've let this dough chill in the freezer. I got my cookie scoop. I have a large cookie scoop. I'll show you. I have the largest. Show you a different size so you kind of know what size I'm using. See how this one's a little smaller? I don't know what size this is. I just know it's the large one. So I recommend if you're going to be scooping, you get the larger scoop. So I'm just going to take my dough, and start putting it on my cookie sheet like this. They're all rolled out. So you notice I used the cookie scoop to get the cookies on the parchment paper, and then I just took my hands and kind of rolled them in a ball like you would a meatball. Now I'm gonna let my pumpkin balls sit in the freezer for maybe about 30 minutes. You can also just chill them in the refrigerator for about an hour, up to 2 hours actually if you want. But I'm gonna do about 30 minutes in the freezer, and then I'm gonna check them and see how firm they are before I bake them. I thought I would insert a clip of the back portion of our property and the trees that I get to look at while I'm in the kitchen baking. We have French doors leading out to the back of our property. And I just love looking at all the fall colors when I'm in the kitchen baking, even in the winter with all the snow. I love looking at it. I think it's beautiful. There are the cookies out of the oven, so they're cooling. They need to completely cool. So I had them in the freezer for about 45 minutes. I did have a total of 16, but when I was taking the cookies out of the freezer, they 3 of them rolled off onto the floor, and let's just say I didn't put them back on the cookie tray. They actually got thrown in the trash. So, but I managed to get 13, but in this recipe, guys, I do get 16. I baked them at 350 for about 18 to 20 minutes, keeping an eye on them. And as you can see, I kind of put the camera down. It has this nice pillowy shape. So they just have a nice little mountain on top there. When you do take them out of the oven, the edges will be done, but the center, I don't know if you can see, it has a little puff to it. That is fine. They're continuing to cool. Here's how the bottom of the cookies look. And while these are continuing to cool, I'm going to make a glaze to go over it. So for my glaze, I am going to use 2 tablespoons of whole milk, a teaspoon of pure vanilla, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and 2 cups of powdered sugar. I do need to get some cinnamon, as I like to put cinnamon in this glaze as well. So I need to get that. I am going to be using a piping bag. You don't have to use a piping bag, but if you want to, you can. You can use a spoon and just drizzle it on there. Totally up to you. I wanted to bring these out. You can also use tips if you want, or you can just cut the tip of your bag and get it out that way. Again, bags are not necessary. I just happen to have them, so I utilize them. after you're done icing your cookies, you're gonna want to let them sit for about maybe an hour. You want that icing to get a little hard on top. You don't want it to be a wet consistency. So mine aren't done setting, but I thought for this video we would try one. So this is kind of almost set. I do have a cup of tea here. I made some pumpkin spice tea. And guys, I got this pumpkin cup last year from Hobby Lobby. Pumpkin spice tea with my pumpkin spice iced cookie. So let's open this so you can see. If I can get it open nicely for y'all. So there's the inside. Do you see how pillowy that is? Oh, I can't wait. Okay, let's dig in. That's pumpkin-y. You can taste the pumpkin, the cinnamon, nutmeg. It's like all those flavors come together and it's just so good. Now, if you're somebody that would like to eat this warm, keep in mind you would melt the icing, but I bet you it would taste really warm too. I've never tried it warm, so I don't know, but I don't know. They're very good. So I'm gonna finish this off. I'm gonna drink the rest of my tea. But guys, thank you so much for stopping by at Magically Living Life today. So till next time, guys, y'all have a magical day and a magical week, and I will see y'all later. Bye, guys. Y'all take care.